What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, doing good.
This is my friend Claudio. We've known each other for what, 3 years? Um, we've helped each other through a lot of stuff, I feel like. Um, this is the type of man that's always here for you, you know? And he's helped me go through a lot of things. Helped me go through my last breakup. Not too long ago, I've helped him. I think I have.
Yeah, hella.
Yeah, I've tried to help him go through his last breakup. And so yeah, I feel like I really wanted to talk to you about this, and just hear also your perspective on how to move on from a difficult breakup, because I don't know, I know that you've been through a lot of things in your life in general, and you've learned a lot from it. So I just feel like you're the right person to ask some questions. So would you mind sharing a bit about your situation that led to your last breakup?
Yes, so I was very comfortable. Like, I was just too comfortable and didn't really push myself to be better per se. And
You were content, I guess, with
Yeah.
how things were.
yeah, I was happy with everything, and I didn't really push for much. I did the usual thing, like going to the gym and like the typical, like, I'm not pushing myself extremely, but this is okay with me.
Yeah.
And I think like I kind of let go of my ambitions kind of, and that affected how I interacted with my ex, so that kind of broke us up.
Your relationship, that was a long-term relationship, right?
Yeah, so we did 2 years and a half long distance, but we did it like 3 years, so like we knew each other pretty well. Like we would communicate quite a lot, because I mean, when you're in a long distance, that's kind of,
You have to.
yeah, you have to. So it was it was very nice. I don't regret anything.
Yeah, that's I guess that's an important thing to. I'm glad that you say that, because I don't think you should ever regret sharing moments with a person and also becoming that close, right? Because that's what makes it difficult to leave a person, is to go back to, like, not back to being strangers, but it's the leave, like, the space that you gave them in your life, and that suddenly becomes empty. That's something difficult. But I think you will agree with me on this, that you learn so much from it, and I guess the happiness that you get on the moment makes it so much worth, like, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, I think all the experiences you live, like, you have to embrace them. You have to think about it, especially like after you go through a breakup. You have like so much time, and I think I personally just take a little bit of time to just think about it and think about everything that went on, and then you start slowly like picking up new hobbies, like going to the gym more often, or like hanging out with friends, and I think it makes everything quite smooth, like a smooth transition. And it doesn't necessarily need to be that bad. Just think about how you can improve yourself, and go on a journey where it's like, obviously you're on your own, and you realize that after, but I think you will grow on your own, and you will grow with someone, and it's equally as good, and you'll have as many experiences as you want.
Like you mentioned, exercising, you mentioned seeing your friends. Could you maybe elaborate on other things that you did or that you tried to do, like after the breakup, to move on and to just feel better in a way, but maybe kind of seeing now that you're here, like looking at the progression and like how it started and how it went, like the evolution of all this whole process?
Yeah, so at first I was very, very sad, and just kind of hanged out for like a week and a half in my room, like not talking with many people. And then I started opening up a bit more. I also write like poetry from time to time, to like kind of journal my growth and journal my emotions, so I can let them out, and then I will share it to my friends, so that
We understand each other very well on that, because like I make music, and like I've shown you a lot of things that I write, but I cannot share because that's my way of externalizing it as well. And I think maybe like we agree on that it's important to externalize your feelings. Don't bottle them up, because then it's hard. It's hard as well to like let go of them if you don't fully experience them.
Yeah, it's very important to not let them in. Like, yeah, it's okay to understand them and like keep them in for a short amount of time, but at some point you gotta let things kind of go and understand that everything that you went through is okay, and now it's time to, I don't know, be productive, like get new ideas on what to do, like have ambitions for yourself. So
I had a thing at the beginning of like my last breakup, which I don't know if you'll relate with this, but it's that once you lose contact with someone that was so important in your life, you almost get attached to the pain that you feel, because it's the last thing that relates you, that puts you in a, like, connects you with the person, right? Your only way to connect with what was real in the past is through those feelings, through that pain, and reliving old memories, right? But I also think that, as you're saying, at some point, like, it's good to experience them. It's healthy and it's normal as well. Like, I don't think you should feel guilty for remembering and reminiscing about the past. But there's a moment where you have to put yourself first, right? And kind of start being productive, as you said. So it's through the first few months, you were really sad. It was very difficult. But then, so when did the switch happen where you were like, all right, it's time to improve myself. It's time to like stop being just simply content, but actually pushing myself further, because that's also what you said was one of the reasons why your breakup happened. So did the sadness that you felt from the breakup at the beginning impede you to go through this change? And was it like later on that you kind of like made the switch and started working on yourself? Because I guess when you're sad, it's hard to work on yourself. It's easy to say, right? But when you just feel like staying in bed and not seeing anyone, it might be more challenging. I don't know.
yeah, I think everyone processes things very differently. I personally took about like 2 to 3 weeks to just accept everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, I've accepted it. I know what I can do to change my behavior. I know like what I can do to make myself better. So I just decided, like, progressively, I think I started going to the gym a bit more. Like I was going maybe 2 times a week before, and then I started going 3 times, and then 4, and then progressively it got much more like feasible, per se.
So this is something that comes a lot, especially from men. It's the importance of exercising or working on your physique or your physical abilities, or working on a sport that you're particularly fond of to kind of help you move on. Could you just elaborate on why you or other men do this, and what areas of your life does exercising bring benefits?
Yeah, so usually after a breakup, I usually start running a lot. Like I started running 10 kilometers almost every week. It gives me like an hour of just to think about my situations and like what I'm doing with my life.
Almost meditation then.
Yeah, it's almost meditation. You're running. You're not really thinking about running. You're more thinking like, yeah, you're distracting yourself and thinking about everything that surrounds you. And I think that's really nice. Like, obviously, if you're prone, like if you want to meditate, you can meditate. It really depends on the person.
All right. That's so interesting. So I wanted to ask you, because as you say, like, of course, everyone goes through breakups differently. There's also a lot of circumstances around the breakup that might make the experience different, because of course, so you were going through distance, right? So once you cut ties with the person, that person was not, at least initially, not part of your life, like in your daily life. Like, it's not a person that you would see at work or at school. But I guess you still have the problem of social media, right? The person still present. You still see them. I don't know. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about going no contact with a person? Do you think that's desirable? Is that something that you're implementing even since you guys broke up?
So, we used to FaceTime every day, and we used to talk all the time about whatever we were doing. And I think it was kind of hard, but she made it easy because we went on a break, and it was like we were talking less and less, and then we broke up. So I think in a way it was pretty calm for me to adjust, thanks to her, obviously. And I think that no contact is completely fine, but it's always nice to have some closure and know that the person you cared about is still doing good, and they're like, being the best they can be, and being happy, because that's ultimately what you want in the people you care about.
Yeah, I think like if you truly loved someone, you will always want, like, I think that's what makes the difference between attachment and love, is that when you truly love someone, you want their best, like what's in their best interest, even if that doesn't include you.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only talked with her for like 2 days in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And I see her on social media, and I'm like, I'm really glad that she's happy. She's doing like whatever she wants, and like I see her on trips. I'm happy that she's happy.
Yeah, that's actually a super healthy way of seeing things, and like I'm very glad, because a lot of people are not capable of that, are not capable of kind of accepting that the other person is doing good without you. But yeah,
it's like accepting that you're also fine without them.
True.
So it's just about accepting that you're gonna be happy and they're gonna be happy, and I think ultimately, happiness wins for whatever reason.
I wanted to ask you as well, how did the breakup impact your self-esteem? Like, did it, because for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, a breakup can lead to a lot of insecurities, and it's something that you kind of have to combat. And of course, exercising as one of the things that you mentioned, but just working on yourself towards your goals. They can be like professional goals, there can be like creative goals, or even simply kind of expanding your social life. Those are things that can improve your self-esteem, kind of as a counterbalance effect. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, how did that happen for you?
Yeah, so usually it goes down quite a bit at the beginning, especially like thinking, am I good enough, or am I the best version I can be? And then you simmer on it, you think about it, and then you're like, how can I change how I was acting before to be better? And therefore, as soon as you make these little adjustments and you start going little by little, getting better, focusing on yourself, then you realize, well, like, you're more confident, you're more happy with yourself. You accept yourself much more.
I think like for me, like, there's this thing where, like, soon enough, once you start working on yourself, you kind of start not necessarily remembering, maybe it's not the right word, but at least like seeing again all the value that you have, all the worth that you have. And like, at first you might feel a bit guilty or a bit stupid for giving so much to someone that didn't feel as much for you. But when you look back, I think you'll agree with me, like, there's no regrets on that, because there's also beauty in that, right? It's like unconditional in a way. Like, you just realize as well that you're capable of giving so much, right? Like, at least that happened to me. I was like, wow. Like, a long time ago, I went through kind of like a bad breakup, and in my future relationships, like the relationships that followed, I always felt like I couldn't give that much, because I guess I still had like trauma from it, and I just couldn't give so much trust, or so much. I think I had some mental barriers that would just inhibit my emotions, literally. And I think my last relationship just made me realize, like, that I could really give a lot of love still, and it was still there, and I still was this kind person. So don't feel bad about giving. Always give. What else I want to ask you? Looking back to it now, would you have done anything differently? Not about the relationship itself, of course, but about the breakup, or what you did in the next months.
Yeah, I mean, I took a whole month where I was going out quite a bit, like doing a lot of stuff socially, drinking a lot, and I think maybe it took me a little bit more time to heal because of that.
Yeah.
I think, like, yeah, alcohol in general or like other drugs can like take you more time to actually think about what you care about and how to process things. So I don't know, it's not like I recommend not doing it, but what my experience was that it was slower with that.
Yeah. So you need to find balance between distracting yourself, which I guess is important, but also not detach yourself from your responsibility of kind of taking in what happened and processing it, right? Yeah, I wanted to ask you if you could describe your last breakup in one word, what would it be? Take your time. No rush, really. I'm thinking about mine now.
Then give me yours.
I'm thinking.
Let's think.
Let's think.
Yeah.
You guys can think as well.
I'm gonna go with progressive.
Yeah. Mine is exhausting.
Do you wanna elaborate?
Yeah, I can elaborate. I think it was exhausting because at first I came up with unexpected because it was unexpected, but I think it was exhausting because I was fighting so much. And when you see that the person in front of you is not willing to fight as much, or not, I didn't feel like I was putting so much effort in the sense that love is easy to a certain extent. Love is not enough though. That's also what I learned. And it was exhausting because to me, all the challenges that we were facing, like I also faced challenges regarding distance as well, they seemed like they were nothing. You know, they seemed like, to me, I was willing to go through all these, to endure all these inconveniences of the relationship. All right, so the camera died. We don't know if we still have the footage, but I still want to end this conversation. So I wanted to ask you, Claudio, what piece of advice would you give to, first, someone who's going through a breakup, and what piece of advice would you give to yourself from when the breakup just happened?
To someone, I would say talk with people. A lot of people go through the same things that you have. Similar things doesn't necessarily need to be exactly the same, but I think some insights on people around your life, or literally anyone, if you're not comfortable with speaking in person, you can always go on Discord or like Reddit. There's always people that are willing to help everywhere. And then for myself, I would say just realize that certain things are a fact and they'll be fine being a fact.
And I also wanted to ask you something that I didn't have the opportunity to ask before. I just wanted to ask, could you name a few things that you've learned from your past relationship?
I guess not to conform with yourself. Humans change all the time, and I think as people we kind of need to like be better, like make yourself better, give positive energy, and the positive energy will get back at you. So just focus on that.
Yeah. Never stop giving.
Yeah, make the world a happy place by making everyone happy around you.
And someone will come into your life to make you happy in return.
Not necessarily, but yeah, everything comes back around, I think. Yeah.
And the best part is that if you work... Oh, wait. We have a metaphor that we talked about recently, right? But if you work enough on yourself, that... Because you definitely shouldn't be needing someone.
It's don't chase butterflies.
Wait. So here's the ending quote of the episode.
Don't chase butterflies. Build your own garden, and butterflies will come. And even if they don't come, you'll still have a nice garden.
Thank you.